I was born into a home filled with domestic violence. My father was the abuser, my mum was the victim, and from a very young age, I learnt what fear looked like. I learnt to walk on eggshells before I learnt who I was. But what I really learned was how to read people's behavior because my safety depended on it. I learned how quickly someone's mood could change, how words would wound, and how pain gets passed from one generation to the next. I was constantly made to feel like I wasn't enough. I wasn't smart enough or good enough or not worthy enough. And I became a sad little girl who learnt to treasure the tiny moments of peace because there wasn't many of them growing up. And as I got older, I realized something. The people who hurt me were just wounded, and wounded people teach wounded behaviors. Without even knowing it, I had inherited pages and pages of subconscious limiting belief systems about who I was, what I deserved, how relationships worked, what love looked like, and how I was supposed to survive in this crazy world. In my early 20s, I bought a one-way ticket to Southeast Asia and left. I wanted to run from the chaos and started searching for my true self. I wanted to find peace. I traveled for 3 years and I immersed myself in spirituality. I sat with monks, I meditated, I studied healing, I learned ancient practices. I became obsessed with spiritual growth and self development. Who am I underneath everything I was taught to believe about myself? That question changed the direction of my life. The deeper I went, the more I realized something that completely transformed me. Healing gives you awareness, but awareness alone doesn't change your life. I had met so many people who knew exactly why they were the way they were, yet they were still repeating the same patterns, including myself. That's when everything clicked. It isn't enough to understand your wounds. You have to stop choosing from them. That's when I began bringing everything together that I had learned over 3 decades of studying human behavior, studying spirituality, psychology, energy, consciousness, and mostly my lived experience. And piece by piece, I started threading what is now known as the formula of life. Because I realized something incredibly simple. Every single one of us on this planet, no matter where you come from, we're all moving through the same human process. We're all inherited conditioning. We've all developed beliefs. Those beliefs shape our behavior. Our behavior becomes our habits. Our habits become our identity. And our identity creates our life, it creates our reality. And the beautiful part is, if repeated choices created the version of you that already exists today, repeated choices can create a completely new version of you tomorrow. That's why the work isn't about blaming your parents or your programming or staying stuck in your past. And it's not about manifesting a new life while continuing to behave like the old version of yourself. It's about radical responsibility. It's about understanding your programming and then choosing beyond it. Because every single day, your behavior tells the truth about what you're creating in your life. I do this work because I know what it's like to feel trapped by your past, what it's like to believe you'll never be enough. I also know the freedom that comes when you realize that your past doesn't define you. I believe every human being has incredible power within them. I believe we're deeply connected to something greater than ourselves. And I believe that it's our birthright to create a life that reflects who we truly are, not who our wounds convinced us we were. If my journey taught me anything, it's this. Your past may have introduced you to your pain, but your choices will introduce you to your future. And that's why I do the work that I do.